Hi, welcome to my informational interview presentation. My name is Nancy Garcia, and this is for my Well 330 class with Professor Gretchen Heating. For my informational interview, I chose to interview Maritza Aguilar, and she was a clear choice from the beginning. Being the director of a local daycare center, she is very well known in the community. Maritza has been in business for over 10 years, and she has had a total of 67 children enrolled in her daycare services. And the number just keeps growing. Being in business for so long, she's highly regarded and is recognized as one of the top daycare centers for children to get the best quality care. She has provided low-cost services to many low-income parents who otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford any child care, let alone before school and after school care. A daycare director plays a very important role in the life of a child. From the minute the parent leaves the daycare facility, it is up to the daycare provider to nurture the infant and take care of all of their needs they may have, such as medical and nutritional needs. It is also her responsibility to provide a safe environment, and this is measured through federal standard code. Her workday is also pretty long. She is available for the parents to drop off their children half an hour before their shift begins and half an hour after their shift ends, which normally averages to about 10 hours a day per child. My main takeaway from this assignment is that women leaders and daycare providers have identical qualities. They are compassionate and caring, they're patient and loving, they're educated, and they also are great teachers. Being a leader and a humanitarian go hand in hand, and I do believe you cannot be one without the other. In order to be a daycare provider, there are many requirements that have to be met. One of the most important ones is to submit a physical as medical evidence that you are healthy enough to provide care for children. Additional requirements for daycare providers would be that you have to be at least 18 years of age or older and have taken care of a child a minimum of 1 year, or at least be a parent to a child that's a year or older. You must pass a background query check with no exceptions. CPR and first aid certifications are a must, and you also have to have a home inspection that has to pass for safety and cleanliness. Some common myths and facts of daycare providers. The first one being that there's an even split, about a 50-50 between men and women in the profession. As it turns out, women have always dominated that field. Another myth is that they're very competitive amongst each other, when in fact the daycare providers empower each other and motivate each other to open as many facilities as possible. No one daycare center can sustain all of the needs of the children who need these services, so the more the merrier. And the last myth is that education supersedes experience, when in fact experience makes decision-making abilities better than any of those that were informed by textbook readings. Daycare centers are at no point on the verge of being extinct. Here are some statistics. 1 out of 4 American mothers return to work within 2 weeks of child labor. That does not mean that they have supernatural healing abilities and that they don't need the additional time off. It's just that they can't afford the pay cut, or professionally they are required to go back, they're needed to go back, and they have no alternative. Also, about 80% of children 5 or under who have employed mothers are with someone other than their parents for an average of 22 to 40 hours a week, and those statistics are climbing. As we have seen, quality childcare services is a necessity for both children and professional parents who want to go back to work. As Hillary Clinton stated in her book in 1996, "It takes a village to raise a child." We have to support the mother's decision when they decide to go back to work, no matter how soon that is after child labor. It is their decision to leave their infants in a well-caring, nurturing environment, so we need to stop mom shaming mothers, and we need to support these daycare providers who are also an intricate part of mothers being able to go back to work. The main thing that I've learned through this whole process is that we have to advocate for women's rights. The right to utilize daycare centers and to know that they have the option of not having to give up their profession. The right to simultaneously go to work and raise a family without having to choose one over the other. We have to educate our daughters to know that they can continue their profession and be great mothers at the same time, that they don't have to choose one over the other, and there's a healthy balance between both as long as she allows her village to help. When selecting the topic of early education, I realized that I barely scratched the surface. Additional research is required. I would like to research other areas of education, for example, the difference between federally funded schools versus private. They both suffer from budget cuts, but is one affected more than the other? And does the curriculum suffer? In the end, the children are punished as a result of these cuts. As a woman leader, I would like to know, how can I help?